Hello and welcome to Sean White's Solar and Energy Storage Podcast. Today, our special guest is Aaron Nichols. And Aaron Nichols is the Research and Policy Specialist at Exact Solar in Newtown, Pennsylvania. What's happening, Aaron?
Hey, Sean. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm a big fan of yours because
of my snowboarding.
Yes, because of your snowboarding.
Yeah, everybody loves my snowboarding.
Yeah, because of your accolades as a snowboarder and because of your accolades as a solar trainer. We took your heat spring course when I was at Grid Alternatives doing my NABCEP PV associate, and it's
awesome.
Really funny.
I love Grid Alternatives. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which Grid Alternatives were you working with?
In Denver.
Oh, cool. All right. Do you know Britt?
Britt Heller?
Yeah, Britt Heller.
She had me on for Heat Spring. She interviewed me and wrote an article about me. We haven't talked much other than that.
I think she was at that same grid in Colorado. Is that right?
She was before my time.
So you kind of like talk to people that talk to people that talk to her. Wow. That's like you're like only so many handshakes away. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, well, as you know, the world of solar, there's like five people that just continuously bump into each other at every conference.
That's right. That's a good one. Okay, I'll try to remember that, but it does sort of seem true. And I did some work for Grid Alternatives too, in different places. I remember doing like their annual event over in like Monterey, something, Asilomar it was. And then I remember doing a whole bunch of classes for them over in DC, Washington, DC. And
oh, cool.
That was really cool. Yeah, it was like there was some kind of grant, but grants kind of don't happen anymore. It's just wrong administration for that,
Yeah. But it was an amazing program. I mean, I found it when I was at the end of 2 years of traveling and I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. And I found Grid Alternatives because I had done some door-to-door solar sales and I didn't want to do door-to-door solar sales, but I wanted to work in renewable energy. And I found Grid Alternatives and that ended up being a hugely pivotal moment in my life.
Yeah, I did a class for Grid Alternatives probably like about 15 years ago or something like that at the Solar Living Institute, which is now closed up in Hopland and Mendocino County, California, up in the Redwoods, up in that area. And I remember hanging out with all these super cool interns, and it was like my favorite all-time class ever. Don't tell any of my other classes. And they would go bowling and do pizza night and all kinds of fun stuff like that. And I decided at that point in my life that when I retire, I was going to become a grid intern.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, we didn't do any bowling or pizza.
What's with that? You had the wrong grid group,
I clearly did. Yeah, Denver is nowhere near as cool. If you're listening, Denver Grid Alternatives, you can step it up.
I know, with the bowling and the pizza. So what's happening with This Week in Solar?
This Week in Solar is a podcast we started about 5 months ago now, back in May. And it is simply a news roundup that happens on Fridays of the biggest stories in solar energy in 5 minutes or less. We are scaling it on Substack. We have a repurposed YouTube channel from a New Jersey solar influencer that we are releasing those episodes on. And we just started doing interviews.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, my marketing manager made me some hats. I'm very excited about.
Yeah, he's wearing a hat, by the way, if you're not watching this on YouTube. And and so what kind of topics are you looking for with This Week in Solar? Like what's happening this month in solar? Is that kind of like what the topic is? Or this year? You can only talk about the week. Can't be like, if you start talking about tax credits, like, nope, that was a few weeks ago,
Well, that's how it started, was just there was so much going on at the beginning of the year with the changeover in the administration. It was always changing. I kept doing news briefings for our sales team. And then we just decided, why don't we just release these? Mm-hmm. So it's been a very fun exercise. And I'm really enjoying the process of just finding interesting stories. But to answer your question, I'm still finding what people think is interesting. I think the fun thing about creating something and starting it is that no one cares in the beginning, which is great. So you get to figure out what people care about. And I'm having a lot of fun doing that.
Okay, I have a confession to make. I made an anonymous podcast and it's out there and I never told anybody before. So if you're a sleuth, you'll never figure it out. Ha! Okay. That was my confession.
Very nice.
So, and I can't promote it. You'll just have to guess. I won't give anybody any more clues. But let's see if anybody out there figures it out. If somebody figures it out, I probably won't admit it,
What, figures out that you host this podcast?
Yeah, what the podcast was that I did that was anonymous.
Oh, like for one of your old jobs or something?
No, not giving any clues. But it's kind of cool that you could do that. Like you can go out there and make some anonymous podcast,
Yeah.
And like, I don't really swear on the podcast, but on that one, maybe I do,
Amazing.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. You could be saying the craziest things imaginable. And no one knows. It could be just around conspiracy theories and building off-grid bunkers.
I know. Maybe that's what it's about. Maybe I have some kind of like alter ego. Maybe it's about drilling oil wells. I mean, who knows?
Yeah. That's the fun thing about podcasts is that the barrier to entry is nothing. Anyone can record themselves and upload it onto the internet.
Yeah, I know. That's pretty cool. I know I first started off with I read the NEC 690 when it came out. And then I posted it on a website. And I guess in the earlier days too, it was like podcasts. It was like RSS feed or something like that. I didn't know what it was. I remember the first time I did a text message, I had this pocket PC phone and I saw that you could like send another phone a message. So I was like, oh, and people were like, how did you do that? It's like, oh, it's called SMS,
Nice. Was the NEC 90 as amazing of a read as it sounds like it was?
690. Oh yeah, man. It was amazing. I was just like, I get so excited. You know what I try to do is in my younger years, when I was in college and stuff like that, I would go with artist friends. We were kind of like beatnik and we would read poetry. We'd write poems and read it and stuff like that.
We would have gotten along. That's awesome.
And so I try to kind of read the NEC all exciting like that, like 690.1, scope, the scope of the NEC. And like quiet and raise my voice and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So just adding kind of a Shakespearean performance twist to it, just so you don't fall asleep while you're reading the NEC 690.
Yeah. Like Shakespeare, like I think what they did is they would put rocks in their mouth to practice.
Oh,
you know what I noticed too about like a lot of people these days, just kind of speaking to that, like in the Shakespeare time, they say they would put rocks in their mouth and then try to speak through that because they didn't have any kind of amplifiers. And you go to Rome right now and you could see those old, Colosseums and all that. It's like, how did they talk so loud? And amphitheaters and things like that. And one of the things that I think might have to do with everybody being on Zoom and stuff like that is you go to something where a lot of people are talking. Like I live in this community where if somebody passes away, they do a candlelight vigil. It's like a small community. And half the people, my mom will be sitting next to me going like, what did they say? What did they say? And it's like, because everybody is too quiet. And there's certain people like me and you, I'm sure, like everybody can hear us, But,
no one has ever accused me of speaking too quiet.
Yeah, and then there's these other people that they're probably just like done too many Zoom meetings and they're used to people being able to just turn up the volume. And you can't turn up the volume when you're just standing there, in a big circle talking to people. And it's like everybody can talk loud, I'm sure of it. They just need to do it. And I guess maybe it takes some practice to kind of realize that or something. So people that are listening right now, if you do any kind of like speaking and stuff like that, think of the person that's farthest away from you in the room and think that maybe they don't have hearing that's as good as you either, because other, people have different levels of hearing. And then also think that maybe those people in the back of the room have people that are trying to whisper stuff to them and stuff like that. Like me, when I was in school, I was always the class clown in the back of the room, cracking jokes, getting the people to laugh. Now I do it in the front of the room. So people should do that. And it's not just like teaching a class or whatever, but like in most kinds of careers, if you want to, move up, you're probably given a talk, in front of somebody. And so that's kind of a good idea to make sure that people can hear you.
Have you had the pleasure of meeting Spencer Meeks yet?
I definitely know the name, and I don't know why I can't think of who it is right now.
He's amazing.
Spencer, sorry. I know you.
He's trained more than 1,000 clean energy speakers. He's awesome. And he specifically works with clean energy conferences. He works with RE+, and he trains a lot of the people who are giving talks. And I'm lucky that, he's a friend and we've done some exchange work. And so he's helped me put together presentations and helped me with some of my public speaking. And it's amazing how bad you're doing in the beginning when you think you're doing great. It's amazing when you're just starting out, you think, oh my gosh, this is poetic. And then you listen back to yourself and it's like you're trying to check off how many times can I say, and all of the other filler words.
Yeah, good thing about this podcast is we have AI software that could take that out. So when you said those words, I'm going to have to even tell the people that are editing this that they got to leave that in there when you say and just the that I just said too, because the software actually takes it out. These days.
But yeah, I've been surprised with how much I've loved speaking in front of people. I never really did that. And it's been amazing the few opportunities that I've had since I started in solar to speak in front of people. I've had a wonderful time.
Yeah, one of the things that I've kind of noticed about speaking, like when I first did speaking, even when I was not into solar, I was just like 20 years old in college or even in high school. It's very nerve-wracking when you're first starting it. But I'm the type of person that just says like Jim Morrison says, expose yourself to your deepest fear, then fear has no power, you are free.
Right.
And so it's exposing yourself to fear and know that the first time you do it, you're not going to be as good as the 100th time. And then another thing that I was doing, especially earlier in my career, was doing anything I could for speaking, just do it all. And the more you do it, the easier it gets, and do it when you're tired, do it when you're not ready, do it, just all the time.
Do it Mr. Miyagi style, standing on one leg while someone hits you with a bamboo cane.
Yeah, I do that. I love doing that. Yeah. And, I did have some of that Catholic upbringing stuff, but yeah, so I think that with anything, it's good to have repetition and tons of practice, and it kind of gets rid of those fears and stuff like that. Like, speaking in front of big groups and all that. It's just like the more you do it, the easier it is. And then after a while, it's just like, this is real easy, Yeah.
Yeah. There's just certain things you shouldn't apply that principle to, like shoplifting.
Oh, yeah. Well, when you're under 18, you could get your record expunged. So if you are going to
That's true.
I don't think we have any under 18 listeners here, but don't listen to what I said. Yeah.
All right. Well, where would you like to take this? Should we talk about solar?
I was a troublemaker kid too. Well, you are working at Exact Solar. So what exactly is Exact all about?
Exact is an EPC that is out right in greater Philadelphia and serves the eastern half of Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
Oh, cool. That's one of the places where I kind of got my start doing solar training was in Philadelphia. There's an organization out there called Infinite Solar.
Oh, interesting.
Shout out to Infinite Solar. That closed down like a long time ago, like 15 years ago or something like that.
Wow. So way before solar was cool. They also weren't as infinite as they said they were.
I think it was like 2008. And I saw on LinkedIn, somebody was looking for a solar instructor, and I had already done a class at a community college. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And speaking of, just going for it, that was difficult. Like I had a full-time job. I'm putting together slides for 40 hours, and I've never done it before. And it was my first time, and it was probably my worst time. And but the students, I think there was 4 students in that first class, and they were very supportive. I mean, they could tell it was my first time, and they were encouraging me. So it was sort of like I was humble to them, and they were like we were all on the same team, and it's like the industry was new and people were trying to get into it, and we survived. They even bought me a present. People don't even buy me presents anymore. I'm much better than I used to be.
You just have too much of a reputation now. Nobody feels bad for you anymore.
It was a solar cell phone charger. That was it. And I don't know what happened to that.
15 years ago must have been what, the size of a briefcase?
Yeah. It was just the case. And I don't think it really even worked that well. It was just like it was a cool case. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, so that was Combley Road area, Philadelphia, something like that. I don't know. So what's Exact doing out there? You're an EPC. Did you know that there's two different things that EPC stands for? And for the first time ever in the 2026 National Electrical Code, there is the letters EPC in 690.8. I'm in the middle of writing a book on this, and so I kind of make fun of it. And I was making fun of it before, like they used the word before, and I kept calling it an EPC to Bill Brooks, and he's sitting on the committee. I wonder if he had something to do with it. I'll ask him. And so it's electronic power converter, which also used to be called a power conditioning system, PCS. And an electronic power converter is pretty much an inverter or DC to DC converter, charge controller, or something like that. But anyway, you are the other kind of EPC. So are you guys doing a lot of procurement?
We're doing it all. We're engineering, we're procuring, and we are constructing.
Yeah, because I know it stands for engineering, procurement, and construction. And one of the things that's kind of weird about that is most of the time when somebody's an EPC, they're not doing all three. They're always doing the construction, but sometimes they're not doing the engineering. Sometimes they're not doing the procurement, like buying the PV and stuff like that. So you guys are doing it all.
We are doing all of the above. We've been doing it that way for 20 years, but the company was under new ownership as of 2021. I came on in 2023, and since then we've been expanding pretty aggressively, which has been really fun.
So wait a minute, Exact Solar is in Philadelphia area, and are you in Colorado?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
If you want to hear the story, it's wild. It'll take me a minute to tell you.
Okay, clock's ticking.
All right, so as I mentioned, I was at the end of 2 years of traveling, and I was looking for something to do. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life, because I took off because I didn't want to be a teacher anymore, and I had a hellish year of teaching during COVID.
What were you teaching?
I was teaching ESL, English as a Second Language.
Okay.
And yeah, I took off for 2 years.
What country were you at?
Oh, I was in all sorts of countries. I was in Guatemala, Panama, Costa Rica, Ecuador, a couple European countries, Thailand, Indonesia, a couple other places.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've got some business in Panama recently. Like they said,
Nice.
I'm going to go back to. Beautiful place. Like it's a very modern city. It's like big old skyline, lots of tall buildings and all that kind of stuff. In fact, I was there, I think during the inauguration when Trump was saying that he was going to take back the canal.
Oh, yeah.
I was worried people were going to be mad at me, but they weren't mad at me for taking back the canal.
Yeah. Panama was probably my least favorite of all those countries. It's just a little too much like Florida for me. The Caribbean side was wonderful. Panama City, I'm not huge on cities. The city was fine, but I really loved Ecuador. But as I mentioned, I was traveling for 2 years. I was learning to surf. I was like just doing yoga teacher trainings, just having a great time. And at the end of that, I didn't know what I was going to do with my life, but I had supported myself during those 2 years by doing a few door-to-door sales trips because I had met some circus girls on the beach in Ecuador, and they had invited me on those trips.
Gotta love those circus girls. Yeah.
Gotta love the circus girls. Yeah, that's the whole reason I work in solar is because I was learning to surf in Ecuador and I met some circus performers.
Do you still hang out with circus girls?
I do love circus performers, and there's a pretty big circus community close to me in Boulder, Colorado that I hang out with occasionally, but I'm not.
Do you do circus stuff?
I do some AcroYoga, like partner acrobatics.
Okay. Awesome.
It's really fun.
One of my best friends, Nico Yuan or Nicholas Yuan or Nico Solar, he goes by different names. He's in Germany. And I met him cruising around China and stuff like that. He used to work for Photon magazine, and he's one of my best friends. And he has since taken up like circus stuff. So he does all this fire stuff, but the main thing that he's doing now are stilts. And he was even on the Eurovision video for the German contestant on his stilts.
Nice. Fire spinners are very cool. There's some really incredibly talented fire spinners.
So he's another solar circus guy. So if you happen to be in Germany, I'll hook you up with him.
Okay, sounds good. I'm going to Germany in 2 weeks. You should hook me up with him.
Okay, yeah, he's in Berlin. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I won't be in Berlin.
Okay, well, I'll introduce you to him anyway.
Okay, that sounds great.
You got to have like the solar circus people. So circus girls, like, have you dated circus girls, or is that dangerous?
I'm not going to talk about whether or not I've dated circus girls on this podcast. I'm wearing my company gear. You can invite me on as myself and I'll talk about my dating history.
Okay. We'll put that on the secret podcast, the anonymous one.
Yeah, the one that you did, we can get real graphic, but this one
we'll talk about like dating circus girls. Okay, yeah. Something I've never done.
At the end of those 2 years of traveling, I didn't know what I was going to do. I signed up for a grid alternatives training, completed that in 6 weeks, had my NABCEP PV associate, thanks in part to you. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And then I took off for Alaska for the summer, worked in a job that had nothing to do with solar.
Oh, where in Alaska?
Indigenous villages scattered throughout the Yukon Delta. So
Yukon Delta. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And I finished that.
I used to live in Alaska, so.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I wasn't anywhere near the Yukon.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I could have I was near Skagway, so I could have climbed up the trail and then made a raft and then maybe caught up with you that way. Yeah.
You could have. Yeah.
Just like those gold miners,
Yeah, I don't know how far you would have gotten. It would have been awesome though.
Call of the Wild.
Yeah. So I finished that. I finished being in Alaska and then I came home, and at the time I came home to Colorado. I've always been from Colorado. And at the time I was dating someone who was older than me. She really wanted me to get to her income level really fast. So I couldn't just go be a solar installer. So the only thing I knew how to do was write.
Shoplifting. What was it? Writing. Okay. You started it with the shoplifting jokes.
I did, you're right. But yeah, the only thing I knew how to do was write. So I started copywriting. And because I had a NABCEP PV associate, I just kept finding clients in the solar industry. This was in mid 2023. And it just kind of grew from there. Exact Solar was one of my first clients and I stuck with them. And then eventually they asked me to come on full time. So I am remote. I live in Colorado, but I work for a company in Pennsylvania.
All right, cool. So how does that work? You just do writing? Do you do cursive or do you do not cursive?
Well, Sean, we have these things called computers now. And I use one of those and then I write into that and then they are over there, but I'm over here.
Wouldn't you call that more like typing or keyboarding instead of writing?
We could, yeah, I suppose. We could call it, yeah. So I type, I'm a typist.
All right. Typing, you're a typer. Okay, good.
Yes, I'm a typer.
Sounds like a good type. Almost as good of a type as a circus girl.
Are you a dad by any chance?
Yeah, I'm a dad a few times over.
You have the humor for it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dad jokes. Well, the non-dad jokes, they would be more likely to get on the other podcast,
Right, yeah. Well, yeah, so that was how I stumbled blindly into the solar industry.
All right, cool. So also you were telling us about all these different places, and I'm sorry that I interrupted you. And was it Panama Circus Girls? Where else did you find circus girls? Oh, Ecuador. Where?
Well, I hung out with a lot of circus performers because AcroYoga is partner acrobatics. And so that community is very close to the fire spinning community or the jugglers or just anyone who likes circus arts or what they call flow arts, like aerial silks or lyra or whatever. They all kind of hang out together. So in various beach towns throughout South America, I hung out with a lot of circus performers, which was really fun.
Are you a burner?
No.
Okay. That means Burning Man, people.
Eventually, it'll get me eventually. Yeah. I've been, Burning Man I've been orbiting it, and there's so many people in my life that go to it, and eventually I'll get sucked into the gravitational pull, but no, I have not gone yet.
Yeah, I started going in the 90s, and I think my last year was 2004. And I remember even in the 90s, people were like, it's just not like it used to be. There's too many people. Now so probably ever since like the first one, when there was one person, and then the next year there's two people, and they're like, there's too many people.
Yeah, I think you need a different type of person to start something and grow it than you need to make something big and interesting. That's why I think like entrepreneurs often get acquired and then go on to start other companies, is because there's a type of person that builds things and there's a type of person that keeps things big and fantastic. But yeah, I mean, like I'm a start things and grow them kind of person, and I'm exactly the miserly type who would say this isn't as cool as it used to be.
Yeah. So your copywriting, like tell us about that kind of job. Like, I guess I've worked with some people that do that kind of copywriting and stuff like that. So you're putting in like AdWords and stuff like that, I guess, and trying to get people to go to a website. Is that kind of what you're doing?
Yeah, of course. There's all sorts of copy. I mean, the word copy basically just refers to business writing. And that can be blog posts, it can be emails, it can be any of that stuff. But ultimately, it's just all marketing content that is funneling people towards making a purchase. And so often you're trying to describe the benefits of a product, or you are clearly and succinctly stating the dream outcome that someone is going to get by purchasing that product. It's just, I like to call it nerd whispering. Because copywriting is talking to, specifically for industries like ours, where there's very technical founders running the machine who have no idea how to talk to the public. Copywriting is talking to those people and then throwing out 80% of what they say and figuring out what's interesting about the thing and then translating that to customers and the public and PR and, you know, everything that creates a brand.
Cool. All right. And so did it work out? You said you were dating somebody that was older. You needed to make more money. You probably need that with somebody that's younger too, you know?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But no, it did work out. I mean, I got to work with some very large companies in the space. I got to be the editor of content for Suncast with Nico Johnson for a little while. And I got to work with Exact Solar. And now I'm full-time with Exact Solar. And I have that remote flexibility, which is amazing.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. All right. And I'm trying to think, did we meet when you were working with Nico?
We met at the ACES conference.
At the ACES conference. Okay. So like, I know that I've done, like he does the podcast booths at the big conferences and stuff like that. And so I've kind of like interacted with a lot of his team at those things. Like at RE Plus, I did 15 podcasts at RE Plus at the media booth. I guess it was like the Suncast media booth is what it was called. So
nice.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
You were interviewed on 15 podcasts?
No, I did the interviewing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so there was this booth and I just like booked it more than anybody else, you know? It was
amazing.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
We interrupt you for a very important announcement. Sean White's Solar and Energy Storage Podcast has been brought to you by Sean White's Solar and Energy Storage Podcast. That's right, Sean White is sponsoring his own podcast, and he wants to remind you to go check out some of his classes. You can go to SolarSEAN, that's Solar, SEAN.com, and then click on the links to check out his classes. You can check out his heat spring classes, and you can also hire him to teach classes for you, like at your company, something like that. Now back to the show.
And so what do you want people to do?
If they want to find me?
Yeah, to find you or to go to Exact Solar or read your copywriting and tell you how great it is, that kind of stuff.
I don't need validation of how great the copy is because anyone who's listening to this is probably not shopping for solar in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. What I would love that you do is to go to This Week in Solar. If you search This Week in Solar on Google, it'll come up. There's a Substack page. There's also a YouTube channel. If you go to either of those and you subscribe, that would mean the world to me.
Okay, I'll do that. You owe me the world. Yeah. All right, cool.
I didn't say I would give the world. I said that would mean the world.
Okay, all right. I was trying to finagle it. Yeah. Let's see, are there other things that you want to talk about and cover?
I'm really interested right now in the way that we are presenting ourselves to the public as an industry. I'm really fascinated with how we're kind of coming out of this really wholesome data-centric era where we have taken the high road for a bunch of time and just kind of presented ourselves as this green solution and pigeonholed us into this corner as essentially green hippie nerds who love charts and graphs but have no idea how to fight dirty when we need to. And right now, I'm really interested in how we can take the gloves off and do what's been done to us by the fossil fuel industry for more than 40 years, to actually translate the benefits of solar energy, of clean energy, into bite-sized, memorable, emotionally charged snippets that we can remember, that we can lean into a little bit of controversy and hopefully spread our message that way, rather than, just continuously being like, someone says, windmills cause cancer, and we say, no, they don't. Here's a graph. It's very dorky, and I would like for us to move in a different direction.
They might cause cancer if you eat them, I don't know. Like plastics, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's why I don't eat windmills, it's like,
right. Yeah.
Because they taste great.
Yeah. I remember seeing in Ripley's Believe It or Not years ago that there was a man who ate an entire plane.
I do remember something like that. It probably worked in his intestine like fiber, I guess,
Yeah.
Scraping. Yeah, it's probably
good.
Probably good for you.
I'm sure. Yeah. That reminds me of that old Monty Python sketch about the man who's going to jump the English Channel. I don't know if you remember that one.
I love jokes, but I don't remember that specific one. Yeah.
Okay. It's amazing. It's just a big build up to this man like getting hyped up to jump the English Channel, and then him running and jumping like 3 feet and sliding on the sand.
Okay. Yeah, those guys are so silly.
They were amazing.
So you're talking about like fighting the fossil fuel industry and having little snippets that we can use instead of, and I kind of see that too, like in politics and all that kind of stuff, where, you're sciencing people and they don't want to be scienced, or, they would rather have something that's more fun. So do you have some snippets you want to shout out right now that'll change the world? Like, I got one: windmills don't cause cancer. How's that? No, go ahead. So what are some of your marketing things for the entire industry that's going to change the world? And so you're not showing them a graph. What do you say to them?
I think it's important to remember that you said, nobody wants to be scienced. People science themselves if they're interested, but if they're not interested, they don't care about the science. So it's important to start with tangible benefits for someone. I mean, I work in residential and commercial solar. I work behind the meter. And so, you are going to save money. Your family is going to be safe from rising utility rates. Right now, there's a company that is going to just continuously raise the rates for the same product, and you can opt out of that in the future. There's so many little snippets like that. Yeah, like utility power is never going to innovate. It's never going to change. You are never going to receive a different product. You're just going to pay more for the same product every year unless you opt out.
Cool. Yeah, and I think another thing too that would be kind of good messaging is to not make it all about climate change, because the people that, care about climate change, which is like half of people in the country at least, probably, they already know. Like, it's kind of obvious. Like, it's those other people that we need to get on our side,
Right.
And they're cool with like less expensive energy. And, one of the things that I was thinking of too when I was talking to somebody, and I don't want to like badmouth utilities, because like there's good people and utilities too, but it's sort of not capitalistic. Like, capitalism is, you're like buying and selling and it's a free market and all that stuff. But with utilities, it's a natural monopoly, so it's more communist, and so making your own electricity is capitalist. So that would be a way of like kind of spinning it, where you are going like, oh, if you don't have solar on your roof, you're a communist.
Yeah, and I think it's much more difficult as a marketing problem than it is as a sales problem, right? Because as a company, when you're marketing, you need different types of messaging for different groups of people. Like the climate change people are always going to be interested in solar. But when you're talking to conservatives, they value independence and they value freedom. And so they can tend to be much more interested in larger systems with off-grid battery banks. And talking about all the green benefits is not going to convince a conservative person. You want to talk about how when the zombies come, you're going to have a system that, will keep power for your off-grid bunker, like you talk about on your other podcast, and will keep your family safe and warm and fed.
Yeah, this zombies. I know. I think that we do need to include zombies more in the way that we market our industry.
Just generally, yeah.
Especially the flesh-eating ones, all that. But yeah, so sciencing people is, it's a turn off. Guilting them into being green is a turn off. And I think that might have kind of that attitude towards guilting people led to the ending of the tax credits, because I think that's kind of what got the current administration in office, is all of this like guilting people of all kinds of things. Like, instead of trying to be positive and going like, yeah, we're all together, we're all one, and making it inclusive for everybody, people were like all canceling each other, And I noticed a lot of times people even on the left were canceling other people on the left.
Yeah. And I mean, the truth is not everyone wants inclusivity. If someone has strong feelings about, their politics, then they don't want to hear solar is for all. They want to hear solar is for the people I agree with.
Well, I think that like if people really believe in climate change and they want to end it, they need to get the people that don't believe in climate change to also get solar. And they need to kind of maybe trick them into saving the planet by using other methods of giving them incentives to go solar, like zombies.
I agree. Yeah. And I'm saying that I don't think inclusivity is the way to do that. Like if you're on the green side and you want to trick the other side into buying solar panels, you're not going to say solar is for all. You're going to say solar is for you guys. You guys can protect yourselves from everything. You guys can, opt out. You guys can put solar on your land and then you don't have to deal with anything if you don't want to.
Yeah. How about like you guys that zombie believers can get their solar on their bunkers so they could prevent big government liberals from coming away and taking away their guns. That's why they need solar.
See, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's the kind of messaging we need.
That's a difficult message to broadcast to a large group, but that's a very easy message once someone is talking to you to have a salesperson tell them. So I think there's top-down messaging that needs to happen. But, when you're selling something, it's just whatever reason someone wants it is the reason you agree with. It's like when I was a bartender, it's just whoever's paying the check is whoever's opinions I like the most. And who has
me too. I was a bartender in Alaska, and I'm all for that,
Yeah.
And that's also just like customer service, like how to get along with people. Yeah.
Right. You got to meet them where they're at. Yeah. Don't talk people out of saying yes. Don't argue with them. Whatever reason they want to do the thing, that's the reason that they should do the thing.
I think if some people are misguided and they think that they're going to, in 5 minutes, change somebody's whole belief system that they've had their whole life.
Right.
And it never happened, not even once.
No, of course. And like you can't, because someone's belief system is built on the communities that they come from. And so for them to challenge those beliefs means that they challenge the very core of who they are, which is very difficult. And you're not going to do that to a stranger because they don't care about you. They have a whole life built on people that they know and love, and their opinions have come from that. And you as a stranger are not going to change that, and that's okay. But, the only way you ever change someone's mind is by first listening to them as a person and understanding what their needs and wants are, and then tying the thing you want them to do to their values.
You know what I think gets people to change their mind are jokes, because they see the irony in something. like there's all kinds of irony out there. And like, if you really think about it from like the point of view of an alien, they would probably think like jokes are stupid, but we need more jokes out there. And that's kind of what I try to do out there, is mess around and joke. And then people laugh, and they might, a little piece of them inside, isn't going to be like a 180, but maybe it'll be a 1-degree turn if it's a really good joke.
Yeah. And I've always said, I've made some of the best connections of my life by going to things I didn't want to be at and finding the people who also thought it was stupid.
Oh yeah. Do you have an example of that?
If you're just, like let's say you're at some sort of conference and someone very pompous is on stage and they didn't really edit their messaging and they didn't really plan their presentation and they're just reading bullet points at you off of a list. But everyone in the room is kind of like, well, this is a very important person. We have to listen to what they're saying. And you find the one person who's just like, isn't this kind of dumb? Those are the best people in the world. That's like, those are the connections that have lasted for me.
Cool. All right. Well, that's pretty cool. So everybody should go out there and go to dumb seminars and meet the people in the back of the room that are heckling the dummy up front that's reading PowerPoints one slide at a time, one word at a time.
Yeah, there's a great Jerry Seinfeld quote. He was accepting an award, and his speech is called "Awards Are Stupid." And he was on stage accepting the award, and he said, "I don't want to be up here. I want to be back there or over there with my friends making fun of what a crock this whole thing is." One of my favorite quotes.
Yeah, he's a pretty good comedian too, and he puts stuff together that's not really, like, a lot of stuff is like kind of offensive to certain people, and he doesn't really offend people. He's kind of good at that,
Yeah, he is.
All right, Aaron. Well, thanks so much for being on the podcast, and tell people how to get a hold of you.
You can find me on LinkedIn, or you can sign up for This Week in Solar on Substack, and you can just reply to any of those emails.
All right. And thanks for listening to Shawn White's Solar and Energy Storage Podcast, where you can go and get your PV associate just like Aaron Nichols and make enough money so you can have an older girlfriend. How about that, Aaron?
Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Good way to end.
All right, to all the cougars out there, now is your time.
Hey, I just got engaged last week. I'm off the market.
Oh, okay. Congratulations, and sorry, all you cougars out there.
Thank you for having me on, and it's been a pleasure.
All right. Yeah, let's do it again sometime.